How a great daily organ is turned out. Mr. Bloom halted behind the foreman's spare body, admiring a glossy crown. Strange he never saw his real country. Ireland, my country. Member for College Green, he boomed that workaday worker tack for all it was worth. It's the ads and side features. Sell a weekly, not the stale news in the official gazette. Queen Anne is dead. Published by authority in the year 1000 and. Domain situate in the townland of Rossanalis, barony of Tinnahinch. To all whom it may concern, schedule pursuant to statute, showing return of numbers of mules and genettes, exported from Ballina. Nature notes, cartoons, Phil Blake's weekly Pat and Bull story, Uncle Toby's page for tiny tots, country bumpkins queries, dear Mr. Editor, what is a good cure for flatulence? I'd like that part. Learn a lot teaching others. Personal note, MAP, mainly old pictures, shapely bathers on Golden Strand, world's biggest balloon, double marriage of sisters celebrated, 2 brides-grooms laughing heartily at each other, Caprani too, printer. More Irish than the Irish. The machines clanked in 3/4 time, thump, thump, thump. Now if he got paralysed there and no one knew how to stop them, they'd clank on and on the same. Printed over and over and up and back. Monkey doodled the whole thing. Want a cool head. Well, get it into the evening edition, Councillor, Hines said. Soon be calling him my Lord Mayor. Long John is backing him, they say. The foreman, without answering, scribbled press on a corner of the sheet and made a sign to a typesetter. He handed the sheet silently over the dirty glass screen. Right, thanks, Hines said, moving off. Mr. Bloom stood in his way. If you want to draw, the cashier is just going to lunch, he said, pointing backward with his thumb. Did you? Hines asked. Mr. Bloom said. Look sharp and you'll catch him. Thanks, old man, Hines said. I'll tap him too. He hurried on eagerly towards the Freeman's Journal. 3 bob I lent him in Mars. 3 weeks, 3rd hint. We see the canvasser at work. Mr. Bloom laid his cutting on Mr. Nanetti's desk. Excuse me, Councillor, he said. This ad, you see. Keys, you remember? Mr. Nanetti considered the cutting a while and nodded. He wants it in for July, Mr. Bloom said. The foreman moved his pencil towards it. But wait, Mr. Bloom said. He wants it changed. Keys, you see. He wants 2 keys at the top. Hell of a racket they make. He doesn't hear it. Nanan, our nerves. Maybe he understands what I... The foreman turned round to hear patiently and, lifting an elbow, began to scratch slowly in the armpit of his alpaca jacket. Like that, Mr. Bloom said, crossing his forefingers at the top. Let him take that in first. Mr. Bloom, glancing sideways up from the cross he had made, saw the foreman's sallow face. Think he has a touch of jaundice, and beyond the obedient reels feeding in huge webs of paper. Clank it, miles of it unreeled. What becomes of it after? Oh, wrap up meat, parcels, various uses, 1001 things. Slipping his words deftly into the pauses of the clanking, he drew swiftly on the scarred woodwork. House of keys. Like that, see? 2 cross keys here, a circle, then here, the name, Alexander Keys, tea, wine and spirit merchant, so on. Better not teach him his own business. You know yourself, Councillor, just what he wants. Then round the top inleaded, the House of Keys, you see. Do you think that's a good idea? The foreman moved his scratching hand to his lower ribs and scratched there quietly. The idea, Mr. Bloom said, is the House of Keys. You know, Councillor, the Manx Parliament, innuendo of Home Rule. Tourists, you know, from the Isle of Man. Catches the eye, you see. Can you do that? I could ask him perhaps about how to pronounce the voglio. But then if he didn't know, only make it awkward for him. Better not. We can do that, the foreman said. Have you the design? I can get it, Mr. Bloom said. It was in a Kilkenny paper. He has a house there too. I'll just run out and ask him. Well, you can do that and just a little power-calling attention. You know the usual, high-class licensed premises, long felt want, so on. The foreman thought for an instant. We can do that, he said. Let him give us a 3 months renewal. A typesetter brought him a limp galley page. He began to check it silently. Mr. Bloom stood by, hearing the loud throbs of cranks, watching the silent typesetters at their cases. Orthographical. Want to be sure of a spelling? Proof fever. Martin Cunningham forgot to give us a spelling bee conundrum this morning. It is amusing to view the unpar 1R alleled in bara 2Rs, is it? Double estimate of a Harris peddler while gouging o the symmetry with a Y of a peeled pear under a cemetery wall. Silly, isn't it? Cemetery put in, of course, on account of the symmetry. I should have said when he clapped on his topper, thank you. I ought to have said something about an old hat or something. No, I could have said, looks as good as new now. See his fizz then. The nethermost deck of the first machine jogged forward its flying, the first batch of choir-folded papers. Almost human the way it, to call attention, doing its level best to speak. That door too, creaking, asking to be shut, everything speaks in its own way.